The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Spirit Laura. She specializes in soul communications as a medium, metaphysic mentor, channel, clairvoyant, and holistic business coach. She has been channeling spirit for 30-plus years, is the author of Intuition for Success with the Law of Attraction, 3 other ebooks, 4 video courses, is a radio host, is featured in the book 100 Top Psychics in America, and selected for Famous Psychic Medium website, among many other honors and talents. Her website is www.spiritmediumlaura.com. And welcome to the X-Zone, Spirit Medium Laura.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for having me here. I'm very excited to be here this evening.
It's a great pleasure. Tell me, when and how did you first experience your psychic abilities, your mediumship, and what was it like finding out that you could actually communicate with spirit?
Well, I think I was communicating with spirit before I really knew I was. Mm-hmm. As a child, about 3 to 4 years old, I would have experiences as I went off to sleep at night. I later found out that people who experience out-of-body experiences, OBEs, mm-hmm. they have the same type of sound that I would hear in my ears, which would start from a very soft party sound, get louder and louder and louder until finally it would crash to silence, and then I would see strangers, and I didn't know what was going on. But I actually started to get confirmation many years later that I was talking to spirit. About 30 years ago, mm-hmm. I actually had an intuitive experience where I met somebody who introduced me to a reader. The reader said to me, "Your guides are trying to come through." And I said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, you just ask for your guides to come through when you're in the mood." And he gave me some very superficial instructions. And so as soon as I got home, I was living in New York at the time, I locked up my very tiny New York apartment with 30 locks and asked my guides, "Come through." And my head literally was whacked back off my shoulders, and this voice boomed out of me. And I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on? Am I schizophrenic?" So as it became overt, as I started to orally channel spirit, I started to understand that something was awry or something was different about myself. And then later on, I got confirmation of mediumship, which is a little different than just channeling.
You know, over the 23 years doing this show, I have heard from so many mediums that they actually went to get a reading, or they went to see a psychic, or they themselves went to a medium and were informed that spirit had been trying to contact them. This seems to be a common thread amongst many mediums.
Yes, I've heard that as well. And another thread that I've noticed since I study the subject is that a lot of mediums tend to start talking to the other side after they've lost somebody very close to them. Have you heard that before, Rob?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah.
And that was the case with myself, but I'll tell you when you want to know about it.
Do you think that most people or everyone has the ability to communicate with the other side, but it's because of the trauma and the person's desire to communicate with the other side that they actually make the connection?
No, I think everybody has the ability, whether or not they had trauma. Because I've taught classes in which people have had no training whatsoever and brought in amazing evidence.
Wow.
Yep. Now, however, each person has a different level of talent, and so we may have random experiences where we break through that veil and we get evidence, or it may be particularly because we've lost a loved one, which puts us in a heightened state of awareness. You see, and that's
right.
when it would happen, as you're suggesting. But it's like not everybody's Pavarotti. Not everybody is the talent or the unique makeup to be able to, on cue, develop yourself such that on cue you're going to start bringing in souls. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. So everybody has some ability. Some people have more talent than others. Having a traumatic experience of loss can heighten your awareness and ability to bring in a connection. But everybody does have the ability, I believe.
All right, Spirit Medium Laura, you and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exonation, Spirit Medium Laura is our very special guest this hour. www.spiritmediumlaura.com. That's www.spiritmediumlaura.com. And we'll be back as we continue investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, on the other side of this 2-minute break. Don't go away.
The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Exonation, Spirit Medium Laura is our special guest. Her website is spiritmediumlaura.com. One thing that amazes me about people who are mediums and who are able to channel is how do you make the connection with the exact spirit that you want to connect with throughout the entire cosmos?
Well, you might have heard other mediums say, and I say it a lot, it's not like 1-800-dial the dead. It's not like going to McDonald's to order a hamburger. But you know what? The more I do this, the more I do find the right soul is coming in, either volitionally or if after I make a connection that's validated. If it's not who the sitter that's the one receiving the messages wants, I may say, well, who are you wanting? And then I go for evidence. And 9 times or 99% of the time that soul will come in. It's as if Spirit knows. Spirit is very much in, even it's the now, as you know. The world of Spirit is the all now, the all-encompassing now, and they know what's going on here, and they are ready with the right vibrational match with the soul that belongs with the sitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what is the difference between a person meditating and a person going into a full trance?
I really don't distinguish between the two. I believe that when you're in a meditative state, it has aspects of trance, which is a slower brainwave state. And meditation doesn't necessarily concern itself with the brain waves. It's simply concerning itself with clearing the mind. But the byproduct of clearing the mind is to slow down the brain waves, which is a symptom of trance. And that's the best way I would distinguish between the two. But pretty much a byproduct of being in meditative state, I believe, is a trance state.
Forgive my next question. No offense meant, but how do you know you were really communicating with the spirit realm?
Well, that's a great question. There's nothing wrong with that because you don't really know. Science has not proven that this is real. However, the first thing you want to do is an ethical medium is look for evidence. That would mean bringing in facts that the medium would have no idea about. However, it's meaningful to the sitter. That's the one getting the messages. But listen to this. What does that mean? Does that mean there's actually an individuated consciousness I'm speaking to that still lives on, or am I reading the mind of the sitter?
Exactly.
You see, right?
Yeah.
So that's another part of it is that doesn't prove anything really except that we're pulling in evidence. But I came up with this little story, this little experience I had, and I have this little story ready for you, which I think you'll find kind of interesting. About a year or 2 years ago in August, actually, it was, an ex-boyfriend of mine was worried that his mother was sick and she was near passing. And, we talked about it a little bit. I didn't pay too much attention. But later on, about 2-3 days later, I was in meditative state. I was meditating. And during the meditation, I felt this energy swoop into my sphere. And it was his mother. And she said, I have a message for my son. I want him to know I'm okay and I'm with his sister. And so I texted him the message immediately, and it just turned out, which I did not know, she'd passed that moment right then. So that is compelling. When you can have this kind of synchronized kind of communication. And also, I never knew he had a sister. But apparently there was a sister that he had, and she must be in spirit with Mom. But that's just, that's not telepathy either, because he couldn't have sent me that information. No, it could have been telepathy. But what I'm trying to say is I had no idea that she was passing at that moment, and there she was.
When people think of mediumship, people think of channeling who do not know the real story, as I am as fortunate to know as I do, they think about Ghost, Whoopi Goldberg, and Patrick Swayze, how Whoopi Goldberg would be possessed, for a lack of a better word, by the spirit of the person that the sitter wants to communicate with. Is that what happens to you? Do spirits walk into you and communicate, or do they communicate from the other side via telepathy?
It depends. First of all, I want to say that movie is a very good likeness of what mediumship is and how souls try to communicate. It's pretty accurate. But what Whoopi was demonstrating in that movie is what trance mediumship is, where a soul will come into the aura of the medium and take over control of the body. I have experienced that once completely, where I went out completely, and it was before I really knew anything about it, so that I was not defensive. It's really difficult once you know what's going on to let down your barriers to allow that to happen. Basically, that is what happens, and it's done by the spirit taking over the energy field of the medium. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. How do you protect yourself from negative entities crossing over into you?
Well, that's a few things. One is we, as mediums, learn to ask in prayer that we work in highest love and light, but also on a regular basis, which I don't know, I haven't heard many mediums talk about this, but on a regular basis, we want to be as